Why on earth do wealthy women worry about money? There's some gift that God gave ladies, it seems like, where they just have a great gift of worrying. Where guys, as one stand-up comedian said, could have holes in their t-shirt, go out to their front yard, see some beautiful woman walking her dog, and think that woman has an interest in me. So, JJ, what are some of the most typical reasons why women worry about?
Yes, the common theme that we hear is that someone doesn't want to end up old, sick, and broke. And sometimes they add, and living under a bridge.
With all their stuff in a bag. And again, the great thing about being a financial advisor for 38 years and a CPA for 50 years, I do not have to make up any funny stories. I've heard those direct quotes from people who would never on the face of the earth run out of money. And how do you make sure that you never run out of money, JJ?
The simplest way is to spend less than you make.
Remember once there was a group called the Screaming Capitalists. They didn't last long, but it's called the Screaming Capitalists. And in big letters, they said, spend less money than you make. It's as true as if you take a deep breath and put a smile on your face, you'll feel a lot better than if you just hold your breath. It is that simple. So if you spend this much and make this much and save for the future when you're not going to be working anymore, that is earning a living. Holy cow, it normally works out just fine. However, and it's a big however, let's say earlier in your life, you didn't have many coffee cups. As you get to be older, you'll discover you have way too many coffee cups. The same can be said for money. We did another video called Do Not Die with All Your Money in the Bank. And what that means in plain everyday language is, and it's very common, I'll have a client who has, I don't know, a couple of $1 million or so in their accounts and not nearly as much money as they should have in their checking account, even though we beg people to have enough money in your checking account to meet your emergency and opportunities. What does that mean? Emergencies and opportunities?
Yeah, so they replace a hot water heater, their air conditioning breaks, they need some work on their car. They have access to cash. And yes, you can transfer it from their investments to their checking accounts. Fairly simple process at this point. At the same time, it's much better to actually have cash on hand in the bank, cash on hand, to be able to pay for different things that arise instead of finding a way to get the money available.
At Checky Financial, we normally ask folks before they finish up their Let's Earn Money career and have been clients for a period of time, even if it's just a couple of weeks or several years or even a couple of decades, how much money would you like to have deposited into your checking account on a monthly basis? And they'll tell us. And the number that seems to be very popular all of a sudden is $10,000 a month, even though most people do not spend, at least that I know, in this part of the world, $10,000 a month. I know some other folks in other parts of the world that can't imagine not spending $10,000 a week, but that's another story. So, JJ, how do we address putting money in someone's checking account on a regular basis?
And yes, when we open accounts, we link their investment account to their bank account. Obviously, they match up all the names, do all the behind the scenes to make sure it's the right person who's going to be receiving the funds. And then so that when we get a call, something arises, they're going on a vacation, they want to do, the client wants to spend the money that they've earned and save for the long term, then we're able to make it readily available to them and quickly and avoid additional paperwork since we did it in the front end.
And we arrange that in a very tax efficient manner. Let me explain that very simply. And if I have not explained it simply enough, JJ will go ahead and clarify it. A lot of folks wake up toward the end of their lives, or say the last part of their life, where they have lots of money in tax deferred accounts. JJ, define a tax deferred account for me, please.
Yes. So you have not paid taxes on your earnings and you invest it. It grows tax free.
Goes tax deferred. It's an IRA. It's a 401k, something like that. Not to be confused with the Roth IRA, which we'll explain later. So, okay, you have all this money in tax deferred accounts. So every time you take money out of that, what happens?
You get taxed.
What does that mean?
Any amount that you want, a portion of it is going to go to the IRS for taxes.
How we address that in advance, which is much more fun than getting caught in a wave instead of riding the wave. Say, wouldn't it be fun to do some tax diversification? And tax diversification means stack up some money in post-tax things where you've already paid taxes on it and have a nice day. And you don't have to pay taxes on it later. So you can buy, like for me the other day, I wanted to buy another car. And I have a car account that I've had since 1995, and I'm not exaggerating.
Define car account for us.
Sure, you have a special account which is dedicated to buying a particular asset or a vacation or a new hot water heater or maintenance on your house or maintenance on your antique car or buying it, whatever it is, but a special account. And what's the benefit of having special accounts today?
Definitely the benefit of having a select few. You don't necessarily want to have 12 because then you just become a closet bookkeeper, but to have a special account. So when, say, for John and Susie who travel frequently, that they have money set aside specifically for traveling. So when they enjoy an amazing trip, that the money is set aside is they see that whatever account balance go down in that particular account, they know that was exactly why they saved for the future. And in this case, it's related to car John was interested in.
Whereas we have a client who's a fabulous person and has really worked very hard at developing community, and she has some travel buds with whom she travels on a regular basis. And we've made, since she's been a client for over 30 years, not exaggerating, we had helped her set up some special accounts for that purpose, traveling, so that when she goes places, that she doesn't have to worry about that. And the big problem is if you have a whole bunch of money in a checking account or a savings account, and then you take money out of it, it's kind of, you go into a grief process because you think, oh, gee, I used to have, I'll say $200,000 in a checking account. And there are people who have $200,000 in a checking account. And now I only have $185,000 in a checking account. And even though that sounds like a comic routine, you feel a sense of loss. But if you have a travel account, if you have a car account, if you're a house maintenance account, a household account, which is four, which is not too much to keep track of, and one bank can do all that stuff for you, you can easily keep track of that. And they'll even do a balance sheet for you. They'll even do an income statement for you. And I'm not exaggerating. Now, was that always the case? No. Used to be you had to keep track of everything. But now electronically with certain cyber security, meaning that you change your passcodes on a regular basis, you have not just a password to get in, but a backup system that checks to make sure that's really you, whether it's to your telephone or your email or both, or a phone call or both, to go ahead and do that. But the main thing is why people worry about money, particularly ladies worry about money, is you have a certain sense of, gee willikers, I could end up under a bridge with my stuff in a bag and be financially ruined, no matter how much money you have. How you can address that, and we do this on a regular basis at Checky Financial. I have one pair of clients who I meet with on a quarterly basis every month, pull together some information for them and assure them that even if they live to be 120, they are not going to run out of money. And again, they've been clients for years and years, so we set it up so since I had anticipated this conversation 30 years ago, again, I'm not exaggerating, is when you have people who are afraid of running out of money, no matter how successful they are, you have to realize as a successful financial advisor that you have to be there for them with the message they need. It doesn't have to have anything to do with numbers. It has to do with their personal psychology, fears, and need to be assured that you're going to be okay. And at Checky Financial, we do our best to help people avoid being old, sick, and broke, and making sure they can have fun and still have money. And you get to define what's fun. One of us likes to scuba dive. One of us likes to climb mountains indoors. One of us likes to travel, although it's getting to be harder to travel all the time because travel has gotten to be a lot less convenient than it used to be. But whatever you define as fun, we at Checky Financial help you put together a plan of action and then execute on that plan of action so you too can have fun and still have money. And if you like this video, please hit like and subscribe. We'd love to see you again and offer your comments. We'd love to hear your comments and share with us your wisdom as well.
Have fun. Make it a great day.
And if you want to contact Checky Financial, you can clearly see our name, and we're on World Wide Web, and we're right here in Dallas-Fort Worth area, and we have a national practice, literally a virtual family office. Have fun.
JJ Checky III, both certified financial planners and one a CPA.